Hello, hello, hello. Peace and reparations to everybody tuned in to this live. Our topic for this live is, the life experience with racism. The life experience dealing with what we call racism. So by just hearing that topic, hearing that title, certain things come to your mind. I'm gonna hit on a few points, a few things that I wanted to speak on when I think of dealing with, living a life experiencing racism from, of course, a black man's perspective. And I'm sure many people will be able to relate. It's a touchy topic, you know. A lot of people don't like to speak on these things because it could be very, I guess, exhausting. And that's from even our own people, even the people that are dealing with it. But of course, it's more common for others that don't really deal with it. Yeah, they be like, man, we don't want to hear that, in denial, or what they tried to coin the term black fatigue. Like try to dismiss the whole thing. Yeah, the life experience of dealing with racism, man. The points I wanted to touch on is that it's very much a marathon with with that with that thing with racism. It's a literal monkey on your back. You feel me? It hits us from all angles. It hinders us. It cripples. It restricts. These are the adjectives I could use when I say living a life dealing with racism limits, like it's very unnecessary. It's an unnecessary evil. At the same time, you got to understand what exactly racism is to see, the damage that it's causing. What racism is it's a tool, man. It's a tool. It's a social construct. It's a tool. It's a piece used in a system that you live in, that you coexist in, that you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't deny that. No matter how many people be like, racism doesn't exist. Here we in 2025, they'll be like, that's you. Like, first of all, black people can't even be racist, man. I don't have a system to control you with. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no institutions that we could use that tool to control you with. Speaking as a black man on this earth, we are the receivers of this strategy tool, and in their strategy, we are the receivers of this. It sticks its ugly head out damn near daily, depending on who you're around. I give you an example. Like I seen this post with Angel Reese. Yeah, it's not just black men, black women. Our entire family on this earth, we deal with this, even when you younger. But anyway, I seen this post with Angel Reese, and she smiling, looking like she happy, full of joy, probably laughing at something or whatever. And then they had in the in the in the background, there was a lady, a white woman in the background, like damn near gnashing her teeth, angry that, like, while she's looking at Angel Reese. And the post was titled "White Gaze," white gazing. Like, and some people might look at this as like it's nothing, like it's minute, when really it's a form of a person showing their racism. It might be passive aggressive, very subtle. They ain't even say two words, but they said a lot just from their look. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, she like looking at Angel Reese with like such, like hate, disdain, like mad that she happy. Then the brother titled it, when he posted this, he titled it, he was like, "How many of you deal with this daily?" And he was like, how many people do you catch just gazing at you with such hate? They might not say two words. It could be at work, school, whatever. You know what I mean? You just patronizing one of these businesses, shopping or what have you, and you catch somebody in the distance just all up in your shit. You know what I mean? Pause. Like just straight up, just you be like, damn. you know, like that's one example. That's one example, and it just happens just daily, just from us just existing. Now, if you break that down, that's you can look at it from angle of, yeah, they're inferior, jealous, envy, some that comes to mind. Like you like what's making them look at you with such anger or hate? I posted recently in my community section saying some people just don't like you because you irritate their demons. Like you stir up their, you know what I'm saying? They just don't like you because you irritate their demons. Their demons, they start coming out. What comes to mind? That movie Sinners, right? A lot of them folks didn't really resonate with it. For the ones that did, respect. Just like anything that I'm speaking of, of course I'm speaking from a collective. You have your twos and fews that are cool, that are for the, equality, and you know what I'm saying. They don't come at you like what I'm speaking on. They don't have that hate towards you. You know the ones that are like that. I ain't speaking to you. I'm speaking to the ones that, the collective, the reason why it's still existing here in 2025. And I'm giving insight for people, from my perspective anyway, my testimony of, hey, it's very much a marathon dealing with racism in this life experience, in this experience we call life, living, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like it ain't the, everybody, but it's majority, and is making it very much makes a big impact. And speaking of impact, like racism causes a lot of issues, socially, economically, mentally, to our people. Speaking of economically, I'll speak on that point. first. Economically, it affects us by, you have policies like redlining, which barred us from building equity, building, being able to own a home in a neighborhood and build generational wealth. And it's still happening to this day. Not being able to get walk into a bank and be accepted to get a loan. You got to jump through hula hoops, jump through all kind of, over all kind of barriers before you even be allowed to sit at the table. And then on the flip side of that spectrum, on the flip side of that coin, the others are not dealing with these things, if any. Another point in economic how racism affects us economically, when it comes to just and this is even socially as well, but when it comes to going to get a gig, applying for a job, they barring you solely off of your skin color. How many of you have filled out an app online or spoke over the phone? We all know how to turn on our professional voice, our professional etiquette. And sometimes they can't tell if you black or white. Me, I can't hide it, but some of you can't really tell when you turn on that professional voice. You know how we had to do that. That's a whole nother point as well. Dealing with racism, we having a damn near cosplay just to get your foot in the door in institutions, get opportunities. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think that's a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty wild that we have to adapt like that just to be equal with something that's mediocre. Not all. I'm not saying, once again, don't get all frazzled and shit, but yeah, majority. But yeah, you go to fill out an app, or you trying to apply to something, and then once everything go fine, you get your interview set, everything set, and then once you get there in person, the whole vibe, the whole energy is different. They weren't expecting you to be who you are. It could be a number of petty things, To me, yeah, I'm always look at racism as just straight degenerate. They talk about IQ a lot, like that's a low IQ energy. I don't believe in IQ as it is, but you either, you know what I mean? I don't believe in nobody that's dumb. I don't think there's nobody dumb on this earth, first of all. But anyway, it could be, just something simple, something you wouldn't even expect. They don't like your hair. They ain't like when you walked in, period, that you black. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, in the lobby, you see the other candidates, the other prospects that are trying to apply for this job. One white dude got a big white tee on, hat to the back, no resume. You walk in, khaki creased, polo, resume typed, presentable. How many of you noticed that? A lot of them don't even be presentable, don't even be qualified. You be qualified, most times overqualified, and you still get turned down. I'm speaking from experience, from actual experience, especially in my younger days. I thank the Most High that I've gotten through all that. But it be things like that, that we deal with. You be like, man, I wonder what stopped me from getting, moving forward for the gig. You got everything laid out on the table. You got experience, you know what I'm saying? You got your certifications, whatever it is, depending on the arena, the industry that you're applying in. You know, you qualified, right? You come respectful. And they had their mind made up. Shit, when you walked in, it's very disheartening. You be like, damn, like, what was it? I could tell you from my experience when I was younger, I didn't always take heed to the racism. I didn't always, know the ins and outs of the the discrimination behind it, the whole science behind it. Like, oh snap! Like I'm just thinking maybe they already got the person they needed. Maybe you know what I mean? Okay, that don't discourage me. Boom, I keep going on to the next. But now that I'm older and I'm, you know, which I think the Most High as well for this internet thing, like I'm able to access more info. That's what I like for my people, for everyone really. But I'm speaking for my people, for me and my people. We're able to access things that we weren't always able to be informed on, and that's one of them. Like the ins and outs of this system, the system of white supremacy and the tools set in place, these barriers set in place. Because for years, people what we used to hear when we was younger. I don't know what age group you is, but I'm a '90s kid, so we used to hear shit like the white man this, the white man that, and then you'll hear another black dude or another sister say, "Ah man, it ain't the white man." You complaining shit like that, and it's like, who do you believe? You know what I'm saying? Knowing damn well, like it's something. It's something. Something's happening. Like it's some kind of opposition, opposing force at you, and that shit done. That shit done hit plenty of generations for decades. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, we ain't going through what our ancestors went through, but it's very much still alive. That force, that energy. They just can't do it out in plain sight like it was for our ancestors. I think the Most High that we got to this point that we are able to, form our own businesses. It ain't as much as it need to be, but we gonna get there. But you get what I'm saying? Like it's very much still alive. All these things that they just do it in a different way. Like I said, economically, that's a major way that they exercise racism. Socially, when it comes to just being in the presence. How many of you be at work, or once again, like how I used that example of Angel Reese. You could just be in a space amongst other groups, and you respectful, presentable. You know what I mean? You ain't even like how they want you to want to think that we loud and we be out there ratchet. All that is stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? All that shit is all propaganda. They know it too. You know what I'm saying? How many of you get the response of like say you speak well, which most of us do. Like I said, we know how to turn it on and turn it off. But anyway, uh, you'll get the response like, "Oh, you're very articulate." And you're like, "Motherfucker!" Like that's when you turn it back on. You're like, "Motherfucker, what did you mean? What you mean by that?" What you was expecting me to be like, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? All like Like it's very like these are very subtle, you know, passive aggressive ways. What do they say? Covert ways of showing racism. These is daily. It's very subconscious. They do it subconsciously, and you call it out. You know, the often response is playing victim. I ain't mean it that way. Well, you mean it. You meant it some way. Like, what way did you mean it then? Like, how can you? What other way can I take it as? You know what I'm saying? What other way can I take it as? Because you thought I was dumb? I'm a dumb Negro? I'm a dumb nigga? I'm just a rap listening to what? Weed smoking? What? You know, what I didn't fall under the umbrella of the stereotypes that you had for me? Baby mom sipping Hennessy, like whatever it is that they have in their minds, you know what I'm saying? Like when you don't fit in that box. How many of you know, done like you could see the shocked, the surprised energy that you get. You could see it. You could feel it. And you'd be like, oh man. Just straight up disrespect. But I'm gonna say this. I think that I look at this is what I've learned to realize as I've gotten older, that the discrimination is necessary. I like for people to show me that, you know, how you feel. Keep it 1,000 with me. I like for you to show me how you really look at me, how you really, you know, perceive. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no fake love. I don't like fake transactions. I don't keep nobody fake around me. I don't even be too tough when I do transactions in, you know, patronize these businesses and shit. It just be north and south. I keep everything north and south. Ain't no small talk, ain't none of that shit. Why? Because I look at it like everybody existing in this society right now is playing a part in upholding the bullshit, upholding such things as racism and everything that comes with it. You know, the redlining, the mass incarceration, you know, the police brutality. Notice people only sound off when it hits close to home. You know, like our ancestors, like our ancestor, our icon MLK. He spoke on it's injustice everywhere if it's injustice anywhere. Like it's no, you know what I'm saying? Like that's very much true. If there's injustice anywhere, there's injustice everywhere. Like, you know, you can't just be, oh, this is just excusing this, and then when it hits home to you, you're like, oh, now I understand. Like, how many of you noticing that what's going on with the brothers and the immigrants? You know, much respect to these people, but at the same time, they know their culture as a collective is anti-black. So to the ones that ain't on that type of time, I respect you. But I'm speaking as far as the collective, as a collective. The ones that hate my people. Now a lot of them are getting smacked with reality. They're getting smacked with reality on understanding, like, oh, this is what they were talking about. And you still don't understand. I could say that. Even if you get a little taste or a little whiff or whatever it is y'all going through, it ain't the same. You know, and this is not to poke my chest out and compare struggles or trauma. That's a big thing in this society as well. People like to like trauma bond and shit and thinking it's like a stripe on your shoulder. Like ain't nobody trying to do that. They think it's cool to be from the hood or what have you. It's like our people just, you know, are resilient. We make it look good. That's all. We push through the pain. Dealing with such things as racism, as you can see, we get calloused in the shit. We know how to know where not to go. You know what I mean? Who not to fuck with? Who, you know what I mean? Who not to be around? Like Like that's the only reason why it looks appealing to you others. Like, which I look at that as degenerate like a motherfucker. It's like, for example, everybody want to say the word nigga. It's like, how stupid, how low does that make you? You know what I mean? You don't understand how low that makes you feel. Like you're pushing. You'll get on the internet and debate people over saying a slur. Of course, it's not a slur when it's coming from me and my people, but when it comes from you, yes, it's depicted, it's received as a slur, man. I don't care how cool you think it is. But they're getting a taste of reality, you know, trying to assimilate and all that next to the dominant society. They don't like you either. I give you a news flash, they don't really like themselves. The ones that hate others, they don't even like themselves. I spoke on this on another live. They can't even look in the mirror. You want to know what pushes them, gets them up every day? Knowing that we on the bottom. That's it. The money don't even make them happy. I talk about this damn near every day. They have a bank account full of money, EBT card. I'm talking even the ones that you think is, you know, ain't in poverty or whatever, which a lot of white folks is in poverty. But long as long as they above you, long as, you know what I mean, they got that $1 million worth of white privilege, oh man, that's all they need. But you know, you see what's happening with the immigrants. Like I said, they getting a taste of the reality, man. They getting a taste of reality, and now you got them sounding off saying, we understand, you know, we need that unity and things like that. I could tell you from my experience, I've never seen black and brown unity. You know, yeah, I've had twos and fews, you know, for the people that actually, you know, stand in camaraderie with us as brothers and sisters. Like, yeah, it's that I ain't talking about that. Even these ones that you know as cool, they'll tell you the real. Like, nah, hell nah, they don't fuck with you. We go patronize these taco trucks and these businesses and shit all the time. As soon as you step out of the joint, you know what I mean? Yeah, hell yeah, they don't fuck with you. They'll take your bread, yeah, they'll take your dollar. And that's knowing that you don't got one. Even if you did have one, would they support yours like we do theirs? No. That's how you know they don't fuck with you. And once again, on the point that I just said, as far as people not sounding off on just injustice, period, without it being close to their home, without it being somebody that you know personally or what have you, you know, that I dream of a day where everybody just stops, like kind of like a few years ago, everybody posted blackout picture, blackout image on their social media. I forget what it was for, but it was a protest and it was called blackout. Like me, I look at it like things, whenever there's an injustice, whenever there's any kind of injustice, you know, whether it be police brutality, you know, the rapings, the pedophilia, any of this shit that exists in this country, the drug trade, all this shit. Like, it should be sounded off from every group. Don't matter the color. It should be sounded off from everybody. The one that comes to mind is the major one that always comes to my mind that hit me hard was Tamir Rice. You know, the boy had a toy gun, and it hits me hard, you know, not only because I have a little boy, you know, he's not so little now, but, you know, not only because of that, but also I'm a grown man that I made it past his age. He ain't even get past that age. And I've had a little toy gun when I was little. You know, we using our creativity or what have you. And my mother used to tell me that exact same thing as a little boy as well. They see you as a grown man. It don't even matter. That's the experience that we live dealing with racism. You see what I'm saying? That hate. They'll see a little boy, a 12-year-old little boy, 11-year-old little boy, and they'll be intimidated. Knowing damn well he ain't showing no adult mannerisms, no, you know what I mean? He ain't showing none of that. He don't even understand the politics or none of that shit. But they jumped out and, unalived the little brother, and that shit always bothers me. Most recent, another one that's most recent is what's her name? Sonya. I don't know if it's, I forget her name now, but the lady called the police, called the race soldiers to come assist, see if she thought somebody was in her home, breaking in her home. You trying to call. They were supposed to be the peace officers to come help her, and then they come with a whole different spirit. You see what I'm saying? They come with a whole different energy, whole different spirit towards this woman, and they took her off this earth, man. And what she say? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Yeshua. Like they unalived her. They showed up as soon as they get the call from the dispatcher. They have that in their heart. Put it like this: when he got up, when that race soldier got up, and the other one, I don't know why the other one didn't get charged, but yeah, and the other one, when they show up, when they wake up, shall I say, yeah, they on that type of time, man. That one bothered me like crazy. Like that should have stopped the world. You know what I mean? Nobody go to work, man. Nobody go to work. That's, you know what I mean? Fuck the dollar. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it when I was talking about the blackout thing. Like, if you really feel this way, because I put it like this, during the pandemic, that Black Lives Matter bullshit, I looked at it like, people was just bored. You gotta understand, they don't be having no hobbies anyway. They don't be having shit to occupy their day anyway. They watching you. They either drinking, smoking, something degenerate. Talking as a collective, not your, if you don't fit it, shit, don't worry about it. But, I'm speaking the truth. Be on some degenerate shit. Straight up. You see it in your comments. Most of the motherfuckers be in your comments with foul shit. Just straight low life. Suicidal. I could say that. I always look at it like, damn, he ain't happy, bruh. Like, cause in person, he wants you to jump out the window. He wants you to hurt him, or wants you to, hurt each other. But yeah, anyway, doing that BLM shit. Most of the motherfuckers that you seen on your downtown on the screen and shit, protesting. People just want to be on the right side of history, bro. It's empty. It's kind of like wearing a jersey. I'm a Lakers fan. They could be, they've never even played basketball in their life, but be on the sidelines yelling at LeBron, you suck and shit. But as soon as he does something good, oh, he's the greatest. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, wishy-washy. Love, hate, like, it's empty. It doesn't hold no, it ain't standing on nothing. Because if you really standing for Black Lives Matter, like, let's really stand on that. Let's really do some action behind it then. It was just something good to say. Kind of like how they use the word nigga. And you see they younger generations, they sons and daughters is saying nigga this, nigga that. They look at it like, this gets me in the room of being cool. This got me. I could rock the hat of, I'm cool. It's empty, right? It doesn't hold no weight. I said it was right back to the regular scheduled programming of racism, right after motherfuckers was allowed to, come outside again. Like once the pandemic, you take off your mask and all that. It's right back to the bullshit. Everybody just wanted to be on, I was out there just to say they was out, or get their little pictures to post on social media, bored, stuck in the house. Yeah, it's only so many times they could play fucking Uno or Monopoly and shit, or sit on TikTok watching your shit. It didn't hold no, righteousness. They wasn't out there on no righteous stand. You can see it right now, and it was like that before. So once again, like how I said, like if you was really like what you going through, what y'all going through, little do you know, the only people that are not going against you was like that are not wishing for you to have to be deported or live a what I'm saying, a less fortunate lifestyle is my people. And that's need to stop. They need to be honest. They need to be genuinely honest about that. You don't run across black people that show you hate on a daily. Yeah, you can't. I can't run into nobody that can tell me that lie. You run into an elder, whether they're young or old, woman or man. It like they show you respect. You don't be running into no hate from my people, man. So that needs to stop, like talking about, oh, because we ain't out there doing this and that. It's like, nah, we're not about to be no damn, shield, no bullet bag for you. As you can see, they handling y'all with kid gloves. Like I spoke on recently just now, like saying it's not the same. Yeah, you getting a little taste, but it's not the same. It'll never be the same. We don't even exercise. We don't move on that same frequency, the same wavelength. I can't force myself to hate. Even if I try, man, you see what I'm saying? I can't even force myself to hate you. I could dislike you. Discrimination is very much necessary. It lets you know where you can set up boundary. You gotta have boundaries set in order, you know what I mean, to be healthy. Protect your peace. You have to. Oh, you don't rock with me? Cool. I'm gonna go this way. Stay over there, partner. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that easy. That don't mean, oh, I'm trying to cancel you. Hate means cancel by any means necessary. That translates to cancel. Like I don't want you to live, breathe, eat, succeed, everything under the umbrella. And that comes with racism. See what I'm saying? Hate is racism's whole get down. You see what I'm saying? And it's a tool, and it's used in every institution that we, exist under in this society. I could tell you when I first realized this, man, and I didn't realize this. It didn't hit me until I got older, man. When I first realized that everything is controlled like that, it really blew my mind. It really, put a hurting on my mental. Like I was speaking of just now, saying, one of the points is racism definitely is hurting our mental as well. I don't agree with people that like to shun people with mental health issues, because I believe if you are living in such a time as this, one way or another you are affected mentally, whether you admit it or not. Yeah, you might handle it better than her or better than him, but that doesn't mean that you ain't, you know what I'm saying, faced with it. You ain't dealing with, struggles with it. Some it hits harder than others. If you exercise, that's one way to, combat mental health. I use that tactic, most definitely. I could tell you the main tactic that I use is I talk to my maker. I can't go to man for advice. I can't go to man for trusting of, guidance of, what I need to do next or how do I deal with this. I didn't always know that either. growing up. I didn't always know that. But yeah, mentally, once I realized that, learning the different people, Dr. Francis Quest Wilson, our elder Neely Fuller, different ones with just, studying their literature. I'm like, oh man, like it's been like that this whole time? Like that's crazy. It blew my mind. Especially coming from the city that I come from, I didn't deal with racism because all I seen was our people. And then you step out, as you gain opportunities, your path changes and, you gain opportunities and now you are around more diversity, you're around walks of life that you ain't grow up around. And then you're faced with these things like, yeah, you might have a better job, but look who you got to work around. Look what you got to deal with. That's where it started hitting me. I'm like, oh, snap. They treat me different all because I'm, excelling in this arena. Like, I've done construction for years. And I don't know about any of the brothers that can relate to this, just being in an arena around, the others, whether it be Caucasians or Mexicans. They'll have, like, different crafty counsel, a little different funny ways of, being your coworker like that. They'll make a funny environment depending on who you are. Yeah, they might not come at you all sideways, you know, depending on who you are. Like I could say, I've never had nobody be aggressive with me, but they'll do subtle shit like try to get you out of there, especially if you making them look bad. And see, we don't even move that way with that type of spirit. If anything, I'm grateful to have this nigga on my team. Instead, they look at it as, you trying to outdo me. I ain't even worrying about you. You see what I'm saying? I had to deal with that type of shit. All on the strength of what? Racism. Like what? You feel like that all because what? You can't do this? I could teach you. I'm coming from that spirit. I'll teach you, bruh. I'll teach you. I'm not coming from, look what I could do. You can't do it. Aha. Like, damn. How childish is that? That's what a lot of people don't like to speak on as well. It's like the very elementary ways, the very I want to say childish, like peer pressure, different things that happen. A lot of that comes from adults. It's actually worse when you get older, depending on the environments that you in. It's actually worse. Like you think you dealt with it when you was younger, bullying or what have you and shit like that. Nah, when you become an adult, you'll see that these adults be like real petty. Be moving as a fuck boy or whatever, like real seriously. And at the same breath be like, oh, I'm an alpha and this. You ain't no alpha if you gotta say it. I could feel it. Everybody could feel it in the room. You ain't no king if you gotta say it. Everybody could feel it. Or real nigga, or whatever it is you want to say, you know what I mean? Tough, or what, you know what I mean? You don't have to tell nobody these things. But what we can see is, yeah, you move on the whole, just straight degenerate, low vibration, low energy type of time. And of course, it depends on who you are or if you deal with these type of things. Like, as me, no, I don't get nobody trying me on no, aggressiveness or any of that shit. I don't. I can hold my own, and most of all, I show respect. Even if I do see that I'm having to work around somebody that I can clearly see that they don't like me. I'm not going to show them I'm not going to give them the energy of, you going to knock me off my square. I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to I'm not going to allow you to trick me off my square to where oh, now you're going to mess up my money, you're going to mess up my income. Like, that happens often. That happens very much often. That's why it's common, and I like this. This has been for decades, though. Like, if you know, you know. Our people has always taught us this. Like, man, don't be volunteering information. What they be like, oh, what you doing this weekend? Shit, chilling. Keep it very short, you know. They be wanting to probe the shit out of you for a reason. Pause. You want to, you know, pick apart what you know. Don't be friends with them on Facebook or what have you. Yeah, they'll be all in your business. Oh, I seen this, you know. You be like, damn. That's what I like to tell people about this internet shit. Be careful. Be, you know, aware of what you allowing people to see or what have you. Especially when it comes to, you know, your coworkers or who you got to do business with. It ain't for everybody, and that should be a given, man. That should be a given. But yeah, they'll come with just, you know, a whole objective to tear you down, to destroy. That's what the Most High tells us: kill, steal, and destroy. They come at you with a whole objective to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what I think of when I think of the life experience of dealing with racism. Like, it's just constant opposition. I just heard this recently, and it hit home very much to my mental that a brother was talking to his elder, I think his grandma, and he was asking her, he had said, why was y'all fighting to be integrated? You know what I'm saying? Why was y'all fighting to be in that space or drink from that water fountain and, you know, sit on that bus and shit like that? Once again, what comes to mind when I heard that is like, discrimination was necessary, man. Discrimination is necessary. It forces you to build your own. It forces you to do you know what I mean? Stay away from that. There's a reason for that. It's a reason for it. It's like, no, it ain't pretty. No, it doesn't feel good. I understand. But this should callous you. This should condition you to be like, okay, we got to do the work. We got to put in the work. We got to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we don't have to, you know, meet it with force or meet it, you know, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to jump out the window, you know, forfeit your whole shit. That's all in the cards of the devil. You know what I'm saying? Of that spirit. They want you to forfeit. Not value yourself. They want you to just clearly just throw in the towel. Assimilate, go along to get along, you know, compromise your morals, compromise your whole get down. That's all in the play, you know what I'm saying, when you're dealing with racism and in this whole system. That's all in the play of that. It's very exhausting to even think about. Yeah, most definitely. That's why it's important for us to stay grounded, for you to stay grounded, for you to, you know, practice different things like discernment, you know, your health, you know, strengthen your health. The main thing I would advise to anybody, young or old, draw closer to your maker. Draw closer to your maker, man. We cannot do it yourself. Through all those parables that's in the Bible, that's what the end game is about. That's what it's basically about. I want you to come to me. I'm waiting, bro. I'm waiting, sis. I want you to come to me. Oh yeah, you dealing with racism? Come to me. That's what it is. That's what it's designed for. Whether you know what I mean, really think somebody walked on water or, fed 4,000 people with, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish or whatever. Like, hey, it's all designed for you to think like, hey, you ain't doing it yourself. If you did, shit, go, think up 100 grand right now. If you thought yourself up, think up 100 grand. Think of a successful life. Think of cancer free. Then bring your people back. Then they wouldn't be in the grave. Then you could stop the whole ailment from happening. Then if you thought it up yourself. That's why I'll never agree with somebody that be like, I don't believe in the Most High. You believe in something, you ain't doing it yourself. That just sounds degenerate. That sounds, very, like, once again, I don't believe there's nobody that's dumb, because that even takes brain power to even think up that shit. But, anyway. Yeah, to deal with racism is very much a lifelong marathon as a black person. As a black man or woman, black child, the children don't even know what's going on when you're younger. They don't even be knowing. My son asked me why my dad think it's because he's black. Think everything because he's black. And I couldn't answer him when he asked his mom that when he was little, but I answered him once he got older to understand, because the inevitable happened. He started dealing with shit. See what I'm saying? Yeah, and that'll hit you. That'll hit you as a parent. That'll hit you as a parent. That'll hit you as a loved one. Anybody dealing, when you hear your child or your people dealing with shit, you be like, damn. Racism stuck his ugly head out at my loved one. And I was, and you couldn't even prevent it. You couldn't even stop it. You can go to any latitude or longitude on this fucking earth. You can't protect them from it. It's crazy. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling. But life experience of dealing with racism, I think the only solution is to, hold on to the Most High. That's been my only solution. He gives me the strength to endure it to where it doesn't fatigue me. No, it's not gonna, like, how we say, you can forgive, but don't forget. Yeah, I'll never be on no type of time where I'm just oblivious. Anybody that know me know that I can't be like that. Once I know, I know. It's kind of like the saying of knowledge. Once you know, knowledge brings sorrow. If you know what I'm saying? Once you know something, you can't unknow it. So all you could do is adapt, move accordingly, strengthen, you know what I'm saying, exercise, eat better, play the long game with this shit. As you can see, nature is playing its course. And, the system of racism, the system of white supremacy, and all its little parts, components under that umbrella is being dismantled one by one without us even lifting a finger. And you gotta attribute that to the Most High. If you don't believe it, shit, it's because you don't believe it don't mean it ain't happening. It is what it is. And I love being in such a time like this. I say this daily. I thank you, Lord, for loving me first. Because it's been a time that I ain't even acknowledged. So I thank you, Lord, for keeping me. I thank you, Lord, for giving me the strength to be kept. That's important. Without even lifting a finger, I ain't even got to combat. I ain't even got to, strap up. Of course, I ain't never going to say don't protect yourself. Always protect yourself. Always. But, practice the discernment, discipline, eat better, You know better, do better, you know. Like, people like to say these slogans, but don't be really putting them in action. That's why I only really converse with a lot of brothers and sisters, man. If you ain't already in my circle, if you ain't already my people, but when I converse with people, people like to throw out fucking slogans and, you know, they'll talk your ear off. I hope nobody thinking that's what I'm doing on my lives. No, I'm just, you know, if you don't agree, you don't agree. I ain't here to make nobody believe nothing or what have you. These is just testimony of like what's on my heart. You know, when the Most High speaks of your heart, he's talking about your mind, and that's what's been on my mind here at the age 40 that I'm blessed to be at. I speak on different topics, and I'm just giving my testimony. But yeah, you know, that's my solution to living a life dealing with racism, the life experience with racism. Draw closer to the Most High. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the channel. Peace, stay blessed, stay safe.